Got it? Yep. Recording in progress, it tells me. Um, the Formula AI Hack 2022 is called Driven by Data, and it's in celebration of the awesome racing culture built by Red Bull Racing. And the Formula AI Hackathon is the best place to meet awesome new team members and mentors, work together and test your skills, and to deliver fantastic solutions that have great impact. So thank you all for being part of this. It's going to be a fantastic time. So as a participant, we present different challenges that you can do based on your skills. We provide the data analytics challenge, which is targeted more at data analysis and understanding weather prediction. Augmented reality to develop solutions that are able to work in an application setting, and look at new insights that we can deliver in that context, and 3D modeling. So this is quite a different one. Blender Python scripts that translate JSON world coordinates into beautiful three-dimensional racetracks. Don't forget to add your own stamp and be creative, and the most original ideas will win. One of the things that I do want to say with these challenges, sometimes as participants, we can go, oh, I don't really know enough about data analytics. Am I sure that I can be involved in this? And the answer is actually yes, you can be involved, because one of the most important things to remember at a hackathon is that it takes a whole range of talents to form a team. And you don't even need to be a technology person to work on a technology project in a hackathon. It's really important to remember that it's the diversity of the team. We're a diverse group of people, men and women, and others, and we've got different professions, different backgrounds. We all bring new and unique experiences to the table, and one of the things we found in hackathons is that the more diverse a team, the more effective they are at delivering a great outcome and getting into that prize winning sort of pool. And so don't be afraid if this is your first hackathon. Give it a try. This is a safe place for us to experiment, to try new things, and I think that's a wonderful opportunity here for us all to have a great experience. So who are we? Well, we're the Hackmakers team. Tonight we've got myself. I'm Dan, or Daniel, and I've also got Nick with me tonight. Do we have any other Hackmakers on the line, Nick, or is it just us?
Jansen is with the live stream account.
Okay, so Jansen's helping us out with the live stream on Discord as well. So we're all playing our little parts and contributing to being able to access tonight's stream, and hopefully everybody gets a great benefit out of it. But of course, we're around the event all the time, and our role is to help enable you during the event, answer any questions, and make sure that you have a positive experience. If you've got any questions at all, this is what we're here for. And we want to make sure that your experience is good and that you have a great time and learn a lot from the experience as well. So if you see us around on Discord, and we'll go through Discord later on, you'll see that we've got little red names, and that indicates that we're part of the Hackmakers staff, and you can ask us any questions that you need to. So who is a participant? Well, you're the most important people at a hackathon. And this is the opportunity to showcase your skills and demonstrate, what you've learned, and work on global challenges that are bigger than what we can do on our own. That's the cool thing about a hackathon. We work in teams. We get to meet new people and gain experience and learnings from those around us, including our fantastic mentors. And part of your goal is not just to sort of win a prize. I mean, that obviously we have these fantastic prizes at this event, but it's the experience, it's the learnings, it's the things that you can take away when the hackathon finishes and go, you know what, I learned how to do something here that I can then apply. Either if you're a student, it might be applying it back into assignments or experiments that you might be doing. If you're a professional, it might be, you know what, I've now learned this other skill that I can then apply in my workplace, or you could just be curious about a particular area. You might not have necessarily done data science before, and you might be going, you know what, I really want to try that out. This is your opportunity. And one of the cool things is not just the prizes, but we also have certificates and badges, and you're able to share those with your networks and go, you know what, I was a participant at this fantastic event. So what we're going to do now is we're going to quickly run through the participant guide, and let me go up here and let's start the slideshow again. So one of the things that we talk about in particular with the hackathon, and this is where some of the complexity comes in with the global hackathon, is timelines and schedule. And the most important thing to remember is that sometimes if it's like, for me at the moment, it's sort of mid-evening, but for other people, it's really, really early in the morning. And so one of the challenges when you're forming teams is understanding, does that make sense? And we've seen teams very, very successfully take advantage of the global factor of a hackathon, where one team is working on a particular problem, then they hand it over to the next team. And so they're going 24/7. But that's a very, very complicated thing to do. What we advise as a sort of a starting point is make sure that you can join a team that shares a similar, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but shares a similar time zone, so that, for example, if you need help from another team member, there's going to be somebody around and active when you are. It's not a rule. It's just basically some advice, but it's important to understand where your team members are and make sure that everybody is communicating clearly when they're available, because the last thing you want to do when you're working through the hackathon, especially when it starts to get a bit stressful, you might be working hard on something and then all of a sudden somebody's not available for whatever reason. So it's really important to make sure you keep that communication up. So we're in what we call the pre-event phase, which is actually a fantastic time, because we provide a lot of workshops and virtual events, especially by some of our amazing representatives here from Team Oracle who do some fantastic work. And we're also obviously doing the participant inductions, but this is a great time to, if you're curious about a particular challenge or a particular skill set that you want to learn more about, the workshops are great ways to experience that and learn. We record all of our workshops, and they're available also on the Hackmakers YouTube channel. So you can, if you miss one, you can always come back and have a look at it later. So because it's a global hackathon, we're actually starting in the evening on based on United States time. But it's really important as we go through the hackathon to keep in mind that a time zone that you're in may not necessarily mean the time. For example, right now for me, it's 8:15 p.m. But for other people, it's 9:15, or it could be 9 a.m. in the morning. So it's really important to keep in mind where the times are, so that you know when something finishes and what milestones are available. Now, just about 18 to 24 hours after we commence the hackathon, we have that time for you to register your teams. Now, if you're starting to form a team right now, that's fantastic. But if you're still looking for a team, we have tools and ways of assisting you to find a team before we lock that down. So what happens is, once you've registered, you register your team, you say who your team members are, and then we know that you're entering the competition and are able to make sure that we can help and assist you. Now, the other thing that we provide to mentors to participants is mentors. And these are people with experiences in a range of different professions and industries, and they're giving a lot of generous time to you to help and assist. So we offer mentors to assist you. If you, for example, it might be a technology challenge, or you might be thinking, how do I present this information? We have mentors who are generously giving their time and experience to help you in those things. So they're a great resource for learning, and a fantastic people to connect to. So just remember that you've got that resource, that talent, and that generous person on the other end of what we call a mentor helping you. So just remember that you've got that to call on, and we'll talk about that in a bit more detail later on. And by the end of the challenge, what we want to do is we want to make sure that you're able to pitch your presentation in a small video, 3 to 5 minutes, describing your solution, but also making sure that, because obviously there are technical parts of the challenge, that you also submit things like for example, source code and whatnot as well to the judges so that they can read and evaluate that. And we also have mentors that are skilled in areas such as presentation to help and assist. So who can register to compete? Well, obviously we've got so many of you here tonight, but basically anybody. But however, if you are under 18, you do need the consent of a parent or guardian to compete. Now, does this cost money? No, it's a massive and generous thing that our Hackmakers and our partners are able to do, is able to provide an environment where anybody can come, and there's no sort of barrier to being part of this. So I do really want to call out our major sponsor, Team Oracle, because they've done a fantastic job in supporting the Formula AI Hackathon. So where do we go to register? Just remember the formulaaihack.com website, and you have all the details there to register. And I do note that pretty much everybody who's on the call tonight is already registered. If you're not, just remember to go there and make sure that you can register. Now, do you have to compete? The short answer is no. Sometimes we have had people join the hackathon just to learn, and that's okay. However, one of the things that I sort of encourage everybody to do is, even if you're not skilled, or you don't feel in yourself that you're skilled enough to compete, join a team, have some fun, because the experience of actually being part of a team and the experience of being involved in a hackathon is also one of the valuable learnings that you can get out of the experience, and you meet some fantastic people as well. And just remember that it takes all kinds of people. It takes all kinds of skill levels. I remember having a conversation at midnight my time with a young group of students, because they were worried that they couldn't work on a particular problem set. And I said, well, what skills do you have? And they said, oh, we do X, Y, and Z. And I said, well, you know what? Those are actually good skills to have, because you can help other team members that do have a particular skill. In this instance, it was data analysis, but they could represent the data, they could present it. And so, they could join another team, or I think in their particular instance, they found one little thing that they could do, but they did it really well. So don't be intimidated. Don't be afraid to try new things. This is the forum or the place in which you can do that safely. So it's all about the learning. It's all about the experience. Just remember that. And what if you don't have an idea? That's okay. A lot of people come to hackathons without ideas. You can either join another team, or you can start the ideation process. Now, we've got some YouTube videos in our Hackathon 101 space where we talk about what the ideation process is for a hackathon. And it's very compressed, and it can be quite an interesting ride, because sometimes you actually have to throw out good ideas, because we can't do everything in a hackathon. We've only got about this much time. And so sometimes we have to get rid of good ideas just so that we can focus on that one thing that we're going to complete. So what if we don't have a team, and we'll go through this in a little bit more detail later on, but we have a number of different mechanisms, including the Find a Team channel, as well as forms that you can submit to help us, or help us to help you find people that you can match up with. In terms of size, a team has to be at least 2 people. Sorry, you can't be a solo team. You have to find at least one other person. We recommend a size of between 2 and 6 people. However, up to 8 team members is okay. Just another note, mentors are not part of your team. They help and assist you, and they could help and assist you across the entire hackathon, but they're not your team members. So they don't count towards that 8 members maximum. So you can have as many mentors as you want, either for specific things or in general. So don't be afraid to go and ask for more help and assistance when you need it. And when you submit your final submission, you can actually mention who your mentors were as well. So how do I find a team? There's a participant directory on the formulaaihack.com website where you can actually, when you're logged in, you can actually go through and look at the participant directory and go, oh, I'm looking for somebody with this kind of experience. You can find them, and then you can contact them through Discord. And we'll go into that in a little bit more detail later on. Now, how do we find a mentor? It's actually in the same way. We have a mentor directory, and you might be looking for somebody who's good at databases. And so you can look that up, or data analysis, or presentations, or ideation. Different types and ranges of skills. And those and our mentors are there and available for you. And there is a guide on the FAQ on the website about how to go about contacting a participant or mentor. Now, what tools and resources do we have access to? Well, our main collaboration tool during the hackathon is a tool called Discord. Many of you are obviously aware of that one already. But if you haven't yet, if you go to the formulaaihack.com website, we have a little link down the bottom saying join the conversation. You click on that and it will ask you to log into Discord. And that tool is available to you. You can form up with different teams and chat and discuss stuff. But the other cool thing is you can actually use and leverage the resources of all the channels. And we'll go into that in a bit more detail later on. Another important tool that we have is what we call the Team Charter Guide. And that tool is all about how you would conduct yourself or set the expectations of your team. It can be a little bit stressful sometimes, especially when you might have been working for quite some time, you're feeling tired and a little bit irritable, and then somebody says something and then you get a little bit grumpy. And if there's like an argument or a discussion about we need to do X, and then somebody says, no, we need to do Y. The team charter is a great way to set up the rules or the boundaries or the constraints under which you're going to operate as a team. So, for example, if there's a tie, if there's 4 people in the team, what do you do? How do you break the tie? And you might have already had a pre-agreed mechanism for doing that, and that's what the team charter allows you to do, so that you take the stress out of decision making, as well as managing yourselves and the solution that you're going to bring. Now, we also have a primer pack, and this is available. You can see links to these resources on the resources tab, on the resources channel underneath Discord, and we'll go into that in more detail. But these are all also available on the formulaaihack.com website. Now, obviously, our wonderful sponsors are also sharing tools and credits and some fantastic resources with you as well. And we'll actually go into some of those when we go onto Discord as well, because there's that live interaction there. So what should we do to prepare? Well, the first thing is that you've come to the inductions. So thank you. This is a great way to find out that those pieces of information that you might be curious about and where those resources are available. Now, obviously, we've got a lot of content and a lot of resources available, and we can't necessarily go through all of that in detail tonight. But one of the good things is that all of these resources are available, and you can click on the links and you can follow them through, especially if you're going, oh, I remember Dan said something about a team charter. You can go into those resources and find that information. In terms of setting up your own environment for working, for example, if you're working in Blender, or if you're working in a text editor or an IDE, or other command line tools, you would set those up accordingly. We recommend using a source control system to allow for that collaboration. A lot of people around the world use a tool called GitHub. There are other ones, of course, like Bitbucket and Subversion, if you're still using that, GitLab. There are a whole range of different tools out there that you can use. But one of the things that is important is making sure that the source code from the final solution that you are delivering to the judges, or the completed solution, I should say, is making sure that source code is available so that they can look at that, because there are technical judges that will be looking at the quality of code and the process behind that as well. The other important thing is remember, don't be a schmuck. We treat each other with respect. If we say something that's out of character because we're tired or grumpy, remember to apologize. It's nobody needs to be. We treat each other with respect, with kindness, and also that empathy to make sure that this is a great opportunity to meet and engage with other people. But we also want to do that in a safe way and make sure that everybody's respected. It's a thing to remember, because we all want to be treated well and respected. In terms of research, you could, if you are interested in a topic that you're not necessarily familiar with, you can research the topics and themes. If you're a racing fan, you might already know a lot about the topics and themes, and obviously you would be a fantastic resource for a team out there. But if for example, you want to learn more about 3D modeling and Blender, you might want to go and do some research on that topic. Or if, for example, you have an interest in AR, but you haven't used ARKit before, you might go, well, I want to investigate that and what that's involved in. Again, read up on the challenges and think about the team that you want to form. And we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later on. But there are different roles that you have in a team. It's very important because we're all different and we all bring different skills to the table. But we also need different skills in the way in which we run and operate as a hackathon. You need people that are good at presenting. You need people that are good at ideation. You need people that are good at project management. Nobody likes to be told you can only work on one thing, but a project manager is a fantastic person to have on your team, because they'll go, look, I understand that you're really interested in this area, but we've only got enough time to work on this. So let's just keep focused on that. And they're actually, in my opinion, some of the unsung heroes of teams, because they make sure that people get to the endpoint and complete. And you can wear many hats. You can be a developer. You can also be the person that's presenting, or it could be a mixture across the team. But it's remember to recognize that you're going to be wearing different roles or different hats during the competition. What if our mentor is not responding? For example, you go to your mentor and go, oh, look, this is really important. I need some advice on this. Just remember that, everybody is in the same boat. This is a global hackathon, and sometimes the time zone can actually be the challenge. While you're awake, the mentor that you want to speak to might be asleep. And if that's the case, you can always go to the Ask a Mentor channel and see if there's other mentors available with that skill set. Also, just like any kind of event, stuff happens. We might have a family emergency. And this goes for participants as well as mentors. You might have a family emergency, or you might have been called up by your work saying, oh, sorry, Nick, can you please come in to work on Saturday? And you go, oh, oh no, I kind of said that promise that I'd work at do stuff at Hackmakers. Those things happen. It happens to all of us. We have unexpected events that mean that we can't necessarily commit where we need to. But the most important thing to remember in that situation is to let your team members know. Don't just disappear. Really, it's really important to let them know, because otherwise they will stress out. And one of the most important things during a hackathon is to make sure that the stress levels are managed. And if they can't get in contact with you and you've got something really important that they need from you, they're going to worry. And so my advice to you is make sure that if you do have to go and it's an unplanned thing, let your other team members know. And it's as simple as just writing a message if you need to. Conversely, also make sure when you're forming your teams that you set an expectation early around when you're available. Because apart from some superheroes that I know from Team Oracle that seem to be able to be up 24/7, not mentioning any names, KY, I'm name dropping here. One of our fantastic mentors who is absolutely amazing. But we've got to sleep. We've got to make sure that we keep our energy levels up. And if you can only commit a certain time every day, make sure that your team members are aware of that, so that they don't assume that you're going to be available when they are. And so that's really important to remember. Any more questions about these things? We do have our FAQ on the formulaihack.com website, and we also have links to these resources. So that's another important thing. Now let's go back over to our induction again. So we've just done a quick overview of the participant guide. We're going to have a quick look at what's called the team charter guide. So the team charter guide is I guess a map or a set of pieces of advice that you can take when you form a team to sort of set the overall ground rules or constraints under which you can operate as a team. Again, we're going to go into how to form a team later on, but we've got access to things like the Find a Team channel. We've got voice channels relevant to your region, which is fantastic, especially if you want to find a team in your time zone. That's a really good one. And we're also going to be running a speed team session, which is really exciting. It's a fun way to meet new people. Now, can you remove or change team members? Yes, you just go back into the team registration and input the new details. Just remember, though, it's important to make sure that you're communicating what you're going to do and that the feeling is, or there is agreement. It might be that, for example, you might have a team of 7 people that want to, they want to go for the number one, and then there's another team member that's like, oh, I'm just here to learn stuff, and you might go, oh, well, there's another person that really wants to win this competition that we want to invite in. Is it okay if we move things around? And so you discuss these things. You don't just go, well, you're out, you're in. It's really all about that communication. Can a team change the challenge you've chosen? Yes, you can, but it needs to be obviously in agreement with your team, and there's no need to resubmit the registration. It's only when you go to submit your final presentation to the judges that you actually say, look, I'm associated with this challenge. And sometimes that might actually happen, when you're going through the ideation or that first part of the hackathon where you formed your team and you're going, right, we think we're going to work on this challenge. And then you might get in an hour into your ideation. You might go, you know what, we're actually all data analysts and we're not really interested in 3D modeling. So we're actually going to move to that challenge. So it's okay to do. Again, multiple time zones, be aware, make sure you communicate. It's really important to communicate your availability, when you are available, when you're not available, when you're going to sleep, and making sure that people aren't, especially in a global sense, that people aren't trying to disturb you at 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, this is what I mentioned before about the roles. Now, obviously, in a larger team, you might have a person that is dedicated to a particular role, but in many teams, a person wears many of these roles, and we call it wearing many hats. We have a team captain or a representative who can act as the final decision point, and they're probably also the person that will submit the submission around the team. The team registration. A project manager, which is really helpful to keep you on schedule and to keep you mindful of the time that you're using and also how much time you've got left. Subject matter experts, a person that might be really an expert in a particular domain or field of research. They can actually be really, really helpful. You might have people that are very good at business modeling or pitching or understanding what kind of ideas are valid or not. Again, technical people that can develop a solution. You might have people that are very good at design and designing the solution, so it's really nice and presentable. And of course, people that are really good at presentations or media or being able to turn things into video presentations. Now, we believe that a hackathon goes through, or a hackathon team goes through, three major phases. You have the idea generation phase, the rapid build phase, and then demonstration. Now, some of these tasks can run in parallel. In particular, while you're still building, you might even be able to start preparing or writing drafts of what you're going to talk about in terms of your demonstration. But it's really important to make sure that you understand that there are these three distinct phases, because you don't want to spend all your time building something and then go, we didn't leave enough time for the demonstration. Or you spend, and this has happened before, people have spent all their time thinking about the idea that they want to make, and then they actually run out of time to actually build the solution that they want to present to the judges. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind. And of course, you want to make sure that that your team, your communication will be either sort of like private channels or emails or whatever the channel is that is most effective for you when you're going through and sharing information with your colleagues in the team. And so you make sure that everybody's clear about where those things are located. Again, you want to make sure that you have those clear principles about how you're going to work together, what time you can commit, and also what time you can't say, look, I'm only available at this time and this time. But it's really important to make sure that everybody is clear on what times you are available, because you don't want to be in a situation where they're going, oh, I thought you were working on this. And you go, no, I was actually asleep because it was midnight in my local time. Remember to listen to each other. That's another really important thing. You know, sometimes we listen to respond or talk, you know, like la la la. Oh, okay, they're talking, but I want to get my point across. Remember to listen. Take that time to listen and absorb what your other team members are saying. You might have stand up. For those that are into agile methodology, you might have a stand up in the morning or evening or whatever the time is. You might have a regular check-in where you go, well, okay, every 12 hours, we're going to check in and see how things are going. You might organize that as a Zoom or some other meeting. And also remember, if you are blocked or you're constrained or you go, look, I really can't solve this problem, remember to put up your hand. Remember to say to your team, I don't know about this, or I'm stuck and I need help, because that's where we can start the process of getting a mentor involved to help you and assist you. And it might be that, you know, oh, you just do X, Y, and Z and boom, you're unblocked. And so you save a lot of time And if it's something that's too tricky, you might go, you know what, maybe we need to rethink how we're going to solve this particular problem. The other thing that's important is, as a team, you want to make sure that you can resolve those conflicts and resolve them in a way that's professional and amicable, because you don't want to be in a stressful situation, being very tired, and then you have a conflict, because unfortunately then that's where the emotions come into it, and that's where people get grumpy and maybe say things that they probably would regret later on. So it's really important to make sure that you set the boundaries or set the expectations of how you're going to deal with a conflict before the conflict happens, because then that gives you a guideline so that you can take the emotion out of it and go, look, yep, I am stressed, I am tired, I understand that we've got a tie-break situation here. Well, we said that the team captain would get the tie-break, so okay, I can accept that, and you move on. How do you find or get matched with a mentor? We're going to go into that as well. We have different types of mentors. Mentors sometimes like to work with one team and work all the way through. Other mentors are working with a specific technology or a specific area of expertise, and they will help out lots and lots of different teams. So think about the kinds of mentors that you want to have involved in your team. And if you are looking for additional help or assistance, you can always go to the Ask a Mentor channel, and they will be able to respond and help you out. Again, if your mentor doesn't respond, you can always go to the Ask a Mentor channel and look for somebody with a similar skill. Sometimes, like I said before, life happens, and you might get called away for work, or there might be a family commitment, or it just might be the wrong time zone. They're just not available. So just keep that in mind. We've got an example of a daily schedule, thinking about, well, we go from that idea generation phase into rapid build through to presentation. So this is just a quick sample here, and the links will be available later on.
And just no screen is shared.
Oh, did it turn off again, Nick? I must have. I do apologize. When did we lose the screen, Nick?
Well, for a while.
For a while. Oh dear. So, all right. Okay. So again, principles, conflicts, and luckily for me, I do apologize about the screen sharing issue. These resources are available from the formulaihack.com website, and you can get to them there. Yep. So we were up to the daily schedule. Just think about the kinds of activities that you need to be aware of. Common pitfalls. I'll leave these for you to have a look at later on, and we will now move on to looking actually at Discord. So I'm just going to, hopefully it will. Here we go. So with all great demonstrations, here's one I prepared earlier. So this is our collaboration tool called Discord, and what we're looking at here is our announcements channel, which gives everybody information about what's going on right now. And as you can see, just if we look down here and we watch the screen, oh, there's some fellow here talking about participant inductions and not sharing his screen. So we'll have a look at that later on. Now, one of the things that we do get a question about is what do these colors mean? Well, the green color means that this person is a mentor and they're available to help you. The darker green is a lead mentor. Anybody with a red name in Discord is part of the Hackmakers staff, and they're available to help and assist you. We also have our regional ambassadors, who are fantastic people from across the globe who have been working with different communities to bring people to the hackathon, and just a fantastic bunch of people. So if you see them around, they'll have a grey name, and then participants have a blue name tag that we can see here. Now, one of the tips that I'll give you just as a quick tip is I'll go online now like this, and you can see my name is a little bit different to my nerdy name that I sometimes use on Discord, and that's because I have edited my server profile and given myself a name that is a little bit more clear to everyone participating, that, oh, you know, this is Dan from Hackmakers, as opposed to you know, somebody else. So that it's to help with making sure that there's less confusion about that. A good example of this is as well, Lynn, who's on the call, is one of the wonderful people from Team Oracle. Now you can see here that Lynn's actually put not just her name so that you know that she's Lynn, but also her affiliation. She's part of Team Oracle, and she's also a mentor available to help and talk with you. So it's so that's to sort of help. If you need to ask a mentor, you can actually see from their name that they're available and online. Now, self-assigned roles is one of the other information tags up here. You can actually say what challenge that you're interested in, or you can click on all three, and that just gives you access to these channels, auto adds you to the channel so you can see that information and resources. Now, rules and guidelines is a list of links of helpful and useful resources that you can use and utilize throughout the hackathon. Things like the participant guide, the mentor guide, those pieces of information are available here. And if we have a look at the challenges, we can see here that the wonderful Jason Lowe from Oracle has shared some information about some of the fantastic data that they're providing. So there's some fantastic resources there. Augmented reality, a lot of information available. 3D modeling, there's also tips and resources there as well. Now, if you are ever stuck and you have questions and you go, oh, what do I do now? You can always ask the organizers. You ask a question here, and then we'll get back to you and respond as quickly as we can to your query and help and assist where we can. If you're looking for a mentor, you can go to the Ask a Mentor channel. For example, you might go, I'm looking for a mentor who understands ideation. So you can come into this channel and go, I'm looking for somebody, a mentor for my team that understands ideation, because we want to test an idea. And so a mentor will respond to you. Now, our fantastic sponsors, Oracle, Team Oracle here, have the Help with Oracle channel. And a couple of really important things to remember. Not just that the Team Oracle are fantastic in terms of being able to help and respond to you, but they've actually provided some wonderful resources to use Oracle Cloud and the different various services that are provided. And these resources are all available through this channel. And something that I really want to point out, because if you're aiming to participate and you're aiming to win the competition, that's your goal for your team. Remember that there are 3 bonus points on offer to teams that use Oracle as part of your solution, and 3 points is an additional 10%. So that could be the difference between being in the prizes versus just being in the finalists. So keep that in mind, because that's a really important thing, and that will give you additional opportunity to advance your solution and idea. We have the introductions channel, where you can introduce yourself and wave. We can see A whole bunch of people have been waving. Let's wave to say hi. There we go. What's up? Now, if you're looking for a team, the Find a Team channel is here, and we can see that there is a whole bunch of people looking for teams. And I think it's Nakar here is looking for a team. We'll give them a thumbs up. Fantastic. Resources and data sets. Now, these can be a range of different types of resources. They can be technical, they can be non-technical, they can be tips or tricks. There's a whole bunch of resources in here, and I encourage you to have a look at some of the fantastic resources on offer. Now, one of the tricky things when we're working on the hackathon is sometimes it can be really difficult to present a cool idea because you've only got 3 to 5 minutes. And so there is a lot of really useful information that you can draw on from the presentation tips channel to sort of help and assist you in that area. Now, the random channel is just a place to chat, meet different people. Hi, I'll give that the big thumbs up. Here we go. I'll give them a rocket. How's that? Hi. So it's a place we can share jokes. Of course, we moderate this and make sure that things are appropriate. Please make sure that not everybody shares the same senses of humor. So please make sure that anything you say is not going to upset other people. But we can share jokes. Everybody loves a joke. Brace yourself, hackathon is coming. So you can share jokes and experiences and meet different people as well. So that's a fantastic opportunity. Now, one of the cool things we've got in Discord is our live streams. Oh, somebody's on the random channel right now. And so you can watch any of our live streams that go on, but then we've also got the Find a Team Asia Pacific region, Americas, Europe, Africa. These are places where you can look for other team members or people in your region just to connect with and discuss various different challenges or interesting things. So during the hackathon, I love to jump into different channels and see what's going on and see how everybody's going. So that is a very, very high level overview of Discord. And it's important to remember that whilst we've only touched very, very briefly, and it might seem like a very information dense, but we've only briefly touched on things. It can be, there is a lot of information. So remember to look at the resources. Again, formulaaihack.com has many of those resources available to you. So you can go into that and look at the FAQ site. I believe if I go over here to formulaaihack.com, you can have a look at the resources up on the site here, and we've got guides and templates, of which some of these guides for participants and teams, and let's go to participants and teams. You can see inside this this folder here, we've got the participant guide that we just went through, the team guide, the software guide, and the Hackmakers judging criteria. Now, we have done a YouTube on idea selection and how judging criteria can relate to that. So it's also worth checking out. You can see here some of the videos that are available. The FAQ and checklist is here. So if you ever get stuck and you're going, oh, I wonder what I should be doing here, you can look for these questions here. But of course, if you can't find an answer and you need to talk to somebody, you can always go back into Discord and ask the organizer, and we'll be able to help and assist you in any way we can. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, deliberately. Team, thank you so much for your time tonight. I know that it's a lot of information to take in, especially if this is your first hackathon, but we're here to help and assist you. Don't feel like you can't ask us questions. We want to answer your questions and help to make sure that the experience is a positive one and that you get to have a great time. this is an opportunity to learn and just have a lot of fun. So thank you everyone for coming tonight. Again, we will do our best to answer any questions that you might have. I see that Nick has been sharing and answering as many questions as he could while I was talking. So thank you very much, Nick. Just remember that before we go, I will just remind everybody that our kickoff is 10 o'clock EST or 2200 EST on the 18th of February. So that's for those that are running on IST time, that's 8:30 IST. Or if you're in Australia, that's 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So as a global hackathon, we have to make sure that we can give you those times. It can be quite difficult in a global sense to make sure that everybody is aware. But 2200 EST is when we kick off. And I'm really, really excited about this hackathon. So thank you, everyone. And look forward to seeing you on the hackathon trail. Take care.